You have been handing out weapons your entire life, not to strangers, not to enemies, to the people sitting closest to you. There is something you told someone that you should not have told them. You know exactly what it is. You can feel it when you are around them, that specific, low-level awareness that they are holding something of yours, something you handed over in a moment that felt safe, in a conversation that felt private, to a person you trusted with a version of yourself you were never supposed to make available. And now it exists outside of you. There are 6 secrets you must take to your grave. Never share them with anyone. Not to your best friend, not to your partner, not even to your family. Because the more you reveal, the easier you are to destroy. Machiavelli warned us. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That is not a quote. That is a warning. Machiavelli spent his life studying what happens when the wrong information reaches the wrong person. His writings were so precise about the mechanics of human betrayal that the church banned them, the state condemned them, and every ruler who publicly called them dangerous quietly studied them in private. He did not write about how people should behave. He wrote about what they actually do, because the people around you are not just seeing you, they are collecting you. Every piece you give them goes somewhere you cannot reach and stays there until the moment it becomes useful against you. They are not your enemies, they are just human. And humans use what they are given. So today I am giving you the 6 secrets that must go with you to the grave. They seem harmless to share, but they are the 6 things that once revealed make you the easiest man in the room to break. Stay until the last one, because the last one is the one you have already given away without realizing it. 1. Your next move. You have done this. You had something in motion. A business, a plan, a decision that was going to change the structure of your life. And you told someone before it was finished, before it had walls, before the idea had enough momentum to survive the weather of other people's doubt. Maybe you were excited. Maybe you needed to say it out loud to make it feel real. Maybe you trusted the person, and then came the questions. Is that realistic? Have you thought about the risk? What if it doesn't work out? I just don't want to see you fail. And something changed. Not dramatically, subtly. The way a tire loses pressure, not in a blowout, in a slow leak. The clarity you had before the conversation was gone. The certainty that was driving your movement was now contaminated with their uncertainty. They did not break your plan. You handed your unbuilt plan to a person who was not equipped to carry it, and the weight of their doubt collapsed, something that had not yet developed the structural strength to survive it. This is what Machiavelli warned about when he wrote, "He who has not first laid his foundations may be able with great ability to lay them afterwards, but they will be laid with trouble." The foundation of any plan is the silence around it during its construction. In behavioral science, this is called social reality testing, the phenomenon where verbalizing a goal to another person triggers a premature sense of social reality around that goal, which reduces the internal urgency to execute it. In simpler terms, when you tell someone your plan and they respond with interest, your brain processes a fraction of the reward associated with achieving it before you have done a single thing. The pressure that was driving you releases through a conversation, not through action. And the plan that was running on urgency, on hunger, on the specific restlessness of an unspoken ambition, that plan slows down, sometimes stops entirely, for no reason the man can identify, except that something felt different after he spoke it. He drained the fuel by talking about the engine. But it is not just momentum that disappears when you announce your next move. It is security. Julius Caesar understood this at a biological level. When he decided to cross the Rubicon to march his army toward Rome and ignite a civil war that would ultimately make him dictator, he did not convene a meeting. He did not consult allies. He did not test the idea in conversation to see how it landed. He crossed. The announcement was the act. The act was irreversible, and because it was irreversible, there was nothing left for his enemies to block, no ally to be persuaded out of supporting him, no window of time in which the doubt of others could find a crack in his determination. The move was made. The world had to respond to it, not the other way around. When you announce your next move before you make it, you are giving the world time to respond before the move exists. You are asking permission from people whose approval you do not need and whose opposition you cannot afford. You are placing the most fragile version of your idea, the the version that exists only in your mind before any evidence, before any result, into an environment full of egos, insecurities and interests that have nothing to do with your success. Execute, then let the results speak. Results do not need explaining. Results do not need defending. Results simply exist, and the world has to organize itself around them. The plan you announced is a question they can answer. The result you deliver is a fact they have to accept. What I am about to tell you next is something that changes every relationship you have the moment you understand it. Because most men do not understand that this specific secret, once spoken, does not just affect a conversation. It permanently rewires how every person who hears it sees you. 2. How much money you actually have. The moment someone knows your number, the real one, the actual balance, the genuine picture of your financial capacity, you become something different to them. Not worse, not better, different. You become a resource. And resources do not get treated the way people get treated. Resources get evaluated, they get managed, they get accessed when needed and resented when unavailable. The person who knew you as a man, with complexity, with history, with the full dimensionality of someone they cared about, now knows you as a figure attached to a number, and that number sits in the back of every future interaction, recalibrating expectations in real time. You decline to pay for something. They remember the number and call it selfishness. You do not immediately offer to help. They remember the number and call it coldness. You set a limit. They remember the number and call it greed. The number does not just change how they ask, it changes how they feel about every answer you give. Machiavelli documented this in his study of the Medici banking dynasty. Cosimo de' Medici, a man who controlled wealth capable of destabilizing governments, who financed wars and owned the loyalty of popes, rode a mule to work, wore plain robes, lived in a house that was elegant but deliberately unspectacular, not because he was humble, because he understood that visible wealth is a tax and the collectors are the people closest to you. The man who projects calculated modesty does not just avoid requests, he maintains relationships based on his actual presence rather than his financial utility. People around him engage with who he is, not what he has, and that distinction is the difference between genuine loyalty and proximity based on access. Here is the dark psychology underneath this. In behavioral economics, this mechanism is called resource proximity bias, the cognitive tendency for people to automatically adjust their behavior, expectations, and moral flexibility in proportion to their perceived access to another person's resources. Translation: the more they believe you have, the more they believe they are entitled to. And entitlement, once installed, is almost impossible to remove without producing resentment. Think about what happens in families. You grow, you build, you begin to exceed the financial position of the people around you. You tell them not to boast just because they are your family and you trust them. And within months, the dynamic has shifted in ways nobody announces but everybody feels. Suddenly your opinion on financial matters carries weight. It did not carry before, so does your obligation. So does your culpability when something goes wrong for someone else. Keeping your financial reality private is not arrogance. It is the preservation of relationships that can only be genuine if they are not contaminated by the knowledge of what you are worth. The man who never reveals his number never has to wonder whether people are there for him or for it. We have covered what you must protect about your future and your finances. Now we go somewhere more personal, somewhere most men do not want to go. Because this next secret, you have already broken it, and the damage is already in someone's hands. 3. Your deepest insecurity. You said it in a moment that felt safe. The relationship was good, the intimacy was real, the conversation had gone somewhere, honest, and the other person had shared something vulnerable, and it felt like an exchange, like revealing something would create closeness, understanding, a connection deeper than the surface. So you named it, the fear that lives at your center, the thing that keeps you up at 3 in the morning. The insecurity that has been with you since before you knew what to call it, the wound that has not fully closed. And they held it. They said the right things. They did not use it immediately, they put it somewhere, but it exists now, in them, and it has a very specific property. It waits, not with malice necessarily, not with a plan. It simply waits until the relationship reaches a pressure point, a conflict, a moment where they are losing ground and need to recover it, and then, without fully deciding to, their hand reaches for the most effective tool available, the one you handed them. You've always been like this. Remember when you told me you felt like you'd never be enough? This is exactly what you said you were afraid of. You did not just share a fear. You built a weapon and handed it to someone who would eventually be in a position to use it. This is called vulnerability exploitation. In clinical psychology, the process by which intimate disclosures made in safe conditions become accessible as psychological leverage. Once the relational dynamic shifts, it is not always intentional. The brain under social threat reaches for the most precise available tool, and precision tools come from the people who gave us the most detailed map of their interior. You drew the map, you handed it over, you showed them exactly where to cut. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who served the Emperor Nero and watched that proximity nearly destroy him, wrote, "He who is brave is free." The bravery he was describing was not physical courage. It was the internal discipline to carry your own weight without outsourcing it to people who are not structurally equipped to hold it. Your insecurities are not meant to be shared. They are meant to be conquered. In private, in the work you do at hours nobody sees. In the journal nobody reads. In the gym